breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me. And since I don't have a butler, I have to do it myself.
That's awesome.
Very awesome indeed. I know it's very out of character to do a stream like this on Sundays, but you know what, screw it, because of scheduling issues, we're doing it tonight. So, what is up, guys? My name is the Osnator, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another DC animated movie universe review. Tonight, we're talking about the death of Superman, the movie where Superman dies. Or does he? We're going to talk about that. And we got Zach in the chat. What's up, Zach? And of course, we have the usual suspect, Dylan from Anime Talk. What's up, Dylan?
What's up, guys? And yeah, spoilers. I don't think he died this movie.
We're going to talk about that, Dylan. We will talk about that. But before we begin, because, you know, it is a two-person panel tonight, at least for right now. Well, how's your day been, Dylan?
Tiring, busy as hell, packing up because I am moving.
Oh, you're moving.
Wish it
That's
was
awesome,
a little
man.
more exciting than that, but that
Yeah,
has
you know,
been my day.
life happens. And Dylan, I just want to let you know, I rewatched the first two episodes of Death Note today in preparation for Anime Talk.
Awesome, yeah, because that's gonna be the last stream on Tuesday for Anime Talk. I'm gonna do that and then take a 2 week break, and then hopefully when I get back in March, I'll be moved. I'll have a new setup. I'll have a new camera. You guys, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Cross your fingers. Everything goes well.
I will keep my fingers crossed. And Sindrak comes in, who is Superman and how did he die? Well, Superman is a man that's super, and he dies because we will get more in detail on that one during the review. But before we do that, again, Dylan, where can they find you at?
You guys can not only find me on Tim's channel sometimes, which I couldn't be there tonight because I don't have a camera that works, but I was hanging out in the chat there. Tim's stream was a whole lot of fun. You guys should definitely go check out Tim's talks. He's a good buddy of mine. You can also check out Star Wars Network's channel. I'll be there sometimes too. Of course, you got Zach Alziella's channel, which is in the comments right now. I'm there for the Scream reviews, which we will be reviewing Scream 4 this week before I move. So hopefully you guys look forward to that. Hang out on his channel. I'm also here on the Austinator channel, and you can find me on Anime Talk, where this week we will be talking about Death Note, which will be a fun discussion for sure.
Awesome, awesome. No problem. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and I'm going to say what's up again to Zach. Because I don't remember if I did. I think my short-term memory might be screwed up, so if I didn't say what's up to Zach, then there you go. Because my mind is like Dory from Finding Nemo. I forget even the most simplest of things.
Yeah, it happens.
It does, but it's a blessing and a curse. Alright, you guys can find me on my channel, The Osnator, where, again, we're doing these DC animated movie reviews because of Dylan moving. We did have to push up Death of Superman to Sunday rather than Wednesday, and Constantine will be the review on Wednesday, or City of Demons, and then Reign of the Supermen will be on Saturday. So, you guys get 3 reviews in 1 week, and then we'll be kind of coming back with these reviews beginning of March. And you guys can also find me on the Bad Batch Roundtable on Sundays. You can find me on the Basco Scenarios channel on Wednesdays. Anime Talk usually on Tuesdays. Zach Axiola's channel for the Scream reviews. And I'm everywhere in between. Now, we're 5 minutes into this stream, and we haven't even talked about the Death of Superman movie. So Sindrek comes in. I might have short-term memory loss, but at least I don't have short-term memory... That's good. I like that. All right. So let me give you guys the synopsis of you, or if you will. Now this is Dylan's favorite part of the stream. So here
Yeah,
we
it
go.
is. He's always really good at this. Let's hear what it is this time.
All right. Superman is having relationship problems as he wants to tell Lois Lane his identity, but he can't. But while that's happening, a meteorite comes down from space. Where? We'll get more in detail, but it comes down from space, and inside is a hideous monster in a suit. And it took out most of the Justice League. Can Superman stop it in time? Dylan, how was that synopsis?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was the story, without a doubt.
See, I'm brilliant, guys. I can tell you the synopsis of a movie in just a few words.
You
Now,
really can. They really should hire you to do synopsis for films. They really should.
like I'm just gonna come up on stage and say, a god. Let's say for the next DC movie, it's gonna be Batman is going through something, but while that's happening, a villain is on the loose. Can Batman
Yep,
stop it?
that'll be it. That would basically be it.
It would be. Now that we're 7 minutes in, it's time to get into the meat, the potatoes, the vegetables of this review, and that is our overall thoughts and just the review as a whole. And Dylan, since this is your first time watching, I'm going to let you start off first with your overall thoughts.
All right, my overall thoughts is I've actually seen this story before, told now like about 3 times. I'm sure it's probably been told about 1 million times. Comparing this film to that, this is actually that there was enough in this film that I actually there was enough different in this film that I actually really ended up liking it. Like this was the best version of the story that I've seen so far. But I'll save the rest of that for my positives and negatives. Those are my overall thoughts.
Okay, now that's pretty solid thoughts, Dylan. I gotta respect that. Now, my thoughts on this movie. So the first time I watched it, I went, all right, it's pretty good, but it's not my favorite. Like, because I've seen this done so many times. I've seen it in the comic books. I've seen it in Superman Doomsday. I saw it in BVS. So it's like, oh, the death of Superman. Oh God, not the death of Superman story again. However, like Dylan, after rewatching this again, I have to be quite honest, there's enough differences in this movie to where I can at least be like, oh, it's a different take on the story rather than Superman Doomsday, where it's more of like the same story but rushed and watered down. This one, I like that it goes more in detail on everything, which I'll get into when I get into my positives. And I have to say, after the crap that was Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, this was a very nice breath of fresh air, if you will. Especially after Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. That was bad. And if you want to understand why it's so bad, then you better watch our Suicide Squad Hell to Pay review. That was on Saturday night, but the replay, and it's in our playlist, so go check that out. Free plug.
Yep.
All right. Positives. You know what, Dylan? I think I'm gonna start with my positives here.
Go ahead.
So the one major positive I will say right off the bat, I like that they're done with the Wonder Woman Superman relationship and we're back to Lois and Clark, because the one thing that keeps Superman human is his relationship with Lois. And you do see a lot of that in the movie, which goes into my next positive, is in this movie you do see Superman going through human struggles in a relationship with Lois, as he's struggling to figure out, okay, should I tell my secret to Lois? Should I not? Because if I do, then she might be in danger and all that fun stuff. But really, it's a conversation with his parents and his mom which again, that keeps Superman grounded as a character and keeps him human, is his parents. Which, that nice little interaction was really nice. And the reveal in the seafood restaurant, I have to say, the reveal was kind of like, I kind of agree with Dylan, like, especially with the glasses thing. It's like, really, like, you couldn't have taken off the glasses and noticed. But however, in DC logic, glasses can really disguise you as anything. So, I mean, are they really stupid? I don't know. I mean, maybe. But you know what? I'll just say it's because it's DC logic. What the hell? Next up, you know what? I think me and Dylan are gonna have the same positive. I really liked Lex Luthor in this.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Every single time I watch one of these Superman films, Lex Luthor always becomes the best character. I don't know what it is.
and fun fact, Dylan, Lex Luthor was played by the same guy who was Dwight in The Office. I know. I was like, wait. No, at first, when I watched, I'm like, wait a minute. No, it can't be. And it's like, oh my god, it's Dwight. And I'm like, it kind of makes sense because Dwight in like an alternate universe would be basically a Lex Luthor type character. So it was actually really cool. I also and I like Lex's interactions with Superman as well because you kind of have that still rivalry between them with Lex hating Superman because he's a Kryptonian and heroes are bad type of thing. And I like that he's able to escape the government's watch because he takes off the ankle bracelet, which I mean it's like, but it's Lex Luthor though. Like he could get away with it. And the ways like him going out in public with like a wig and a beard, and he does play a role in the end too, where he ends up helping fight against Doomsday, but then he gets his ass kicked because Doomsday basically kicks everybody's asses. And in doing so, like he's kind of not really portrayed as a hero, but he's at least portrayed as, well, he at least tried to help type of thing. And it does tie into, and he's also running an experiment for like an army, but it looks like he could be creating a Superman army, which might come back. It might, but we'll get back to it.
Yeah.
I also like the dark side. I like that they're implementing more of the dark side references in this movie because right now we're kind of at the home stretch, and because Darkseid is the big bad at the end of all of this, I like that we do get to see more of like the Darkseid references and the whole like apocalyptian like armor that the gang uses at the beginning of the movie. And of course Doomsday actually comes out of a boom tube that Darkseid would use, or like the Parademon / Darkseid / anybody from Apocalypse. So it's very nice to see that they're kind of trying to tie in Doomsday into Darkseid. How does it tie into Darkseid? Well, it'll probably be mentioned in Reign of the Supermen. I don't know, but we will see that when it happens. And this is another positive that I think Dylan might go a little bit more into, but I'm just going to say it briefly. I like that the Justice League is not a massive part in this. Like, unlike Throne of Atlantis, where it does take away from the story, the movie is still, for the most part, a Superman story, and the Justice League would make sense in this movie because if Doomsday is causing all this chaos, then of course the Justice League would have to try and stop it, with Superman kind of just being with Lois. So I like the Justice League in this.
So did I. And the best part is they don't really like take away from anything either. Like in Aquaman, they literally just take away the time. No, in this film they are there, but they give the story to Superman. It really does make a lot of sense. That's what they should have done with the Aquaman story.
Exactly. And I did like that whole little interaction in the Hall of Justice where you had Batman being like, I can't be there because Damian's got like a parent-teacher thing, and then of course the Flash is like making fun of him, saying how he's part of the PTA, and Batman just looking at him. And of course, from Justice League Dark, you have the Batman grunt. The Batman grunt returns.
Yeah.
Which was a fun interaction because again, it kind of builds off of what happened of Superman asking if he should tell Lois his identity. And you know what? I did like the sailor in this movie. The sailor guy who runs the seafood restaurant. You
Mhm.
know, he was the right amount
Yeah,
of
so did I.
he was the right amount of goofy. Like he wasn't too silly, but he was silly enough to where it's like, oh, okay. Like it kind of puts a smile on your face. And I would also say too, which originally was a negative for me, I thought that it was a little too preachy with everybody going, "Oh, we love Superman. Superman's the best." But once I saw the end of the movie, I'm like, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense because it goes to show you just how much people need Superman and how reliant they've become on him to a point where he's like family to everybody. So losing Superman's like losing a part of your family. And just seeing how everybody reacts to his death and how like everybody's affected, it actually does a better job than Superman Doomsday, just showing like the aftermath of how when Superman died, of how everybody's just like heartbroken and sad, and it works. It really
It
does
does.
work. And I do like how you see actually, Dylan, if you don't remember, but in Throne of Atlantis, you know that construction site worker that Superman saved?
Mhm.
That's the same. That's the same guy that was in Star Labs when Superman sees him in the Superman shirt.
Ah,
So,
is
and
it?
I like
That
what's the,
actually, that's a great tie-in.
it is, and it
I
does
did not
come,
notice that.
back in Reign of the Supermen, which we'll talk about on Saturday. Let's see here. What did I like? Doomsday worked for the story. I think Doomsday was really good, and you portrayed him as really threatening, with Doomsday basically beating all the Justice League members to basically almost to death. Like,
Yeah, that's something that I really really like. Like I said, you think okay, if this is a Superman movie, but the DC universe is in it, then why wouldn't the DC heroes come and try to help Superman? And the fact is, in this movie, again, they do play their role. They actually do try to be it, and they clearly establish that there's no way that they stand a chance. The only person who can stand a chance against this thing, and not very well either. He's getting his butt beat, but he can at least stand up against him. So I like the fact that they really established that in the movie.
exactly. And I think that they did the Superman Doomsday fight way better than in Superman Doomsday, because the way it ends in Doomsday is literally them just like falling from space and then Superman just dies.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, in this, like, Superman's beaten to a bloody pulp by Doomsday, but it's because of Lois's words to Superman that he comes back and beats Doomsday, but in doing so, he gets stabbed through the stomach and basically dies from his injuries. And just seeing the way how everybody reacts from like the heroes, which with Batman just almost looking like, whoa, like he almost was in
Yeah,
shock.
even Batman's reaction was great with him, his hand being, you know,
And then the sailorman just saying, on his knees, like, why'd you take away someone who was probably the best of us, but you're gonna keep like the bad people? Like, it
that was great.
genuinely, that was like a whoa, that like hits
It
you
it
right.
literally like that one and a couple of other ones, it literally hit the emotion perfect. I feel like if you're gonna kill Superman, and again, while I don't personally care about Superman, I can care at least about the people around him that hates to see him die. So I like the fact that we really got that emotion from everybody.
Exactly. And I do like the post-credit scenes, which basically are a teaser for the next film, which I think they do it really well. And I also like the whole when Doomsday breaks apart the spaceship, and you have the astronaut Hank Henshaw, who's like, Superman will come for us, but then he doesn't, and he dies, quote unquote. But that'll be added more into Reign of the Supermen, which Dylan does not know what'll happen. So
Not yet. You know, something else that I really like though, and I can't believe that I really like this, but it's not that big of a deal, but it's just so symbolic. The Superman, like his cape becoming the flag, like that was so symbolic. That was great.
I think it's symbolic because like Superman is the embodiment of America essentially. Like he's the guy everybody strives to be type of thing. So really seeing your like the heart and soul of, like your nation just die, especially the way he dies, it's like a whoa moment.
Yeah,
So
it is.
overall though, those are all of my positives, which is pretty much the entire film. Dylan, do you have any positives?
I do have quite a few positives. First off, that this is more of a mixed thing, but uh so like I said, something that I really liked about this film is while yes they did the same story, they really did make it feel different. And I know that they tried to do this whole thing with Superman and Wonder Woman. I almost feel like what if they tried to do this whole thing instead of with Lois Lane? Maybe they should have just kept Wonder Woman in it because we really haven't seen him build up a relationship with her in any of these movies. But then again, I prefer him with Lois Lane than Wonder Woman, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's something that I mixed on, but that was a positive that they brought her in. But it's also something I mixed on because it would kind of be interesting just to see it being more different if they just did it with Wonder Woman instead. Um, but then you would have to argue, well, why wouldn't Wonder Woman try to fight more? If it's all the suit, so it causes problems. But just something that I thought I'd bring up. Another thing that I really liked is, like I said, I really liked every single character's role in this film. Granted, they don't play too much of a role, but you see the Justice League being heroes, and I liked the humor in the beginning where Flash just turns out to be basically the garbage man. Whenever Superman comes out and beats somebody up, he calls up Flash to clean up the rest of the mess. I thought that was funny, but I like the fact that they're still tying the Justice League into this because as in the other film, like I said, with uh the Aquaman movie, the Justice League was there, yeah, but they literally took from the film. In this film, they incorporated them so much better, and I really enjoyed that, um, including Cyborg. Again, you had Wonder Woman mention that they were together a couple of times. So I like them trying to incorporate the Justice League into the story a lot more. Um, and again, the fight between uh, Superman and I can't believe I forgot his name already.
Doomsday.
Doomsday. Thank you. I think this was so much better than what was in that other film because it felt like the punches every single punch felt a lot heavier. Like, and that's something I really like in these films that they've been keeping up with is that every punch seems to land. Because in a lot of the other movies that I've seen, it doesn't really seem like much of the punches are really doing any damage. But in this film, you can literally hear Superman and practically dying from every punch. I don't know why. It adds some realism to it that I really liked that there's a lot more positives, but you know what? We basically covered every single positive here between me and Austin, so this is a really good movie.
It is very good, Dylan. I will agree with that. Now, negatives. Actually, I'm gonna start first on my negatives as well because honestly, I don't really have a lot of negatives. In fact, most of it's more nitpicky stuff. And honestly, the only real negative I have is I wish that we seen more of the fight between Doomsday and the Justice League. I think because we've
But
seen
they did their they did what they needed to do. They just really kind of needed to establish that they were there, and I feel like that's really not that big of a deal.
it's not a big a deal. It's not. I agree, Dylan. It's not. It's just more of like a. It's just more of like a give me at this point with negatives because it's like I don't have that many negatives. Like I agree that if they maybe did a little bit more, it probably could have taken away from what this movie was supposed to be. But because we've seen Superman face Doomsday in a lot of these movies, it would have been really cool to see the Justice League face Doomsday, which is a big positive for me because that was something the comic books didn't even do. Like they didn't have the main Justice League face off against Doomsday, so this movie did improve on the story. I just wish that maybe we could have maybe had maybe a couple more minutes to maybe see more of the Justice League get beat up type of thing. But it's not that big of a negative that ruins the movie for me. It's just more of something that I wish we could have gotten. So
Yeah,
honestly, that's really my only negative. Dylan, do you have any negatives?
honestly, I'm trying to think if I have really any negative, because yeah, you know what? I don't think I actually have any negatives with this film.
Ooh, okay. That's very interesting. Very interesting,
It
Dylan.
is because usually, so it's a Superman movie. Don't get me wrong, and you guys, if you don't know, I'm brand new to the DC universe, especially this part of the universe. And Superman, for a long time, I used to hate him till this guy showed me a couple of films where he was actually a reasonable character. But with that said, even though I don't have any negatives with this movie, Superman's just never gonna be my favorite character. But no, I really don't have a lot. I can't think of even one negative with this film. This was a very solid movie.
And that's a-okay, Dylan. Superman's not for everybody, but at least it's not to a point where you're like, oh, Superman's in the movie. God, he ruins the entire thing. Like now it's just like, oh, it's Superman. Okay, that's pretty cool. Type of thing. So I like that at least. Alright, just to kill a couple minutes or at least some time here, Dylan, do you have any predictions on how Reign of the Superman's gonna go?
Okay, how I think this is gonna go. So we see at the end of the film, and this is where the film of the movie, yeah, the death of Superman. Yeah, the title is a complete lie, guys. So should we shouldn't we be mad? Shouldn't we be like a big negative of this film? I think I only thought of the one negative of this film is that it's misleading. It's completely something different. Superman does not die at the end of this film, because while yeah, we already know the story. While we got Superman in the coffin and everything, he rises up again and flies off. Um,
But the question is it really Superman, Dylan?
that's the big question: is it really Superman? And considering I know this story, again, I've seen this story in a couple other versions. So I don't. I'm pretty sure that they're going to do the whole thing with Superman's clone, and it's actually going to be working for thing I forgot his name.
Lex?
Lex, thank you. The best character of the movie. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure they're going to go that route. I think the way they're going to bring in the DC other characters is they're probably going to have to fight Superman off. Like I would almost like to see another Batman versus Superman scenario where Batman actually is going to toe to toe with Superman, only it's not real Superman; it's the robot Superman, and it's actually going to end up being the DC heroes, the Justice League, that's going to end up saving Superman, and they're going to figure out that, oh my God, he's actually not dead. He actually has some life to him. and they're gonna heal him, and then Superman's actually going to defeat the big bad. That's what I think is gonna happen. Which, of course, the big bad being the robot Superman, or the anti-Superman, whatever you want to call him, that uh Lex Lex makes.
Okay. Now the question is, Dylan, who do you think came out of that pod in one of the post-credit scenes? The thing that comes out of the pod and puts on the jacket. Who do you think that is?
That's the. I have no expectations for that. That's gonna be really interesting to see where that leads to.
Okay, and what is your predictions for the guy having that metal Superman emblem? Like, do you think that's going to be a new character, or do you think that it's going to be somebody that we know?
I think it's gonna be Superman no, because he's it might be. You know what might actually be really interesting is if it's Supergirl, but I could be completely wrong because it looked like another man. So could it be like another Superman? But the only one that I can think of that I know from the DC universe is Supergirl, so that wouldn't make sense.
Dylan, all of your questions will be answered in Reign of the Supermen, which we'll be watching on Friday and reviewing on
And you see,
Saturday.
it's called Reign of the Superman, so I almost feel like I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be a lot more Superman. It could just be the clones of Superman, but it could also be Superman and people coming back into the story. I don't know.
Reign of the Supermen is going to be very interesting, Dylan. Now, do you think Darkseid's going to have a part to play in the movie because we've seen the little hints at Darkseid?
I think he. So what I think it's gonna be a case of. I think it's gonna be a case of more like Thanos. Like I don't think Darkseid's going to like literally appear, but he's gonna. There's gonna be like a couple of scenes with him ordering some people around to go and mess with planet Earth.
Okay.
In fact, whoever put that cape on and who's ever building that super suit might actually be working for Darkseid.
Ooh, okay. Very interesting predictions, Dylan. Very interesting. I cannot wait to show you Reign of the Supermen now because I want to see if your predictions are correct. I want to see your reaction of like, wait, that's what actually happened? So I cannot wait, and I can't wait to review this with everybody. So, all right, final grades and final thoughts. And you know what, Dylan, we'll start with you.
Final grades and final thoughts. This is a B plus. Honestly, this is a really great movie. If I was more of a Superman fan, maybe I would give it an A. But Superman's just not gonna be my favorite character. However, again, I really liked how, yes, this is the same story, but I really liked how this story, this quote unquote adaptation, had enough to make it different where it was still interesting to watch. Because that's something I was a little worried about with the last Teen Titans film, Teen Titans Judas, right?
Judas Contract, yes.
Yeah, Judas Contract. The story was so similar that I kept going back and forth. Plus, I overhyped that film. I really didn't have much hype with this movie. Not that I didn't think it was gonna be bad. I just went into this movie with a much more chill tone versus the Teen Titans because I had more hype for that movie, and it turned out to be what it was. Again, this is a B plus. It's an A out of 10. It's a high 8 though. It's a high B. It really is a great film. And I would definitely say that this is probably the best version of the story that I've seen so far.
Okay, very good, very good. I'm liking that, dude. I'm liking that. I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna give this movie an A minus. I think this movie is very good. I will say that out of this actually surprised me because I did not think I was gonna like this movie as much as I did. Because originally I'm like, it was pretty solid, but it wasn't anything special. But this, after watching again, yeah, I agree, Dylan. It was a big improvement on the Death of Superman story. I think it was a lot better, and in general, it works. Like, even with my nitpicks and what I originally thought, it definitely improved. So I gotta say, maybe it's because I've watched all these DC animated movies before this, but I gotta say, this is up there for me. And it
Yep.
also probably doesn't help that literally the last one we watched was Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, so maybe it worked in its favor. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah. So alright, so A minus B plus for Death of Superman. Okay, good deal, good deal. Alright, so we're 36 minutes in. We got 4 minutes to kill. So yeah, I think we might end it early tonight. So this actually kind of
Yeah.
works. This kind of works out. So I want to thank Sindret and Zach for being in the chat. Much appreciated. I'm gonna go around the panel. Well, I'm gonna go to Dylan one more time. Let everybody know where they can find themselves at. So, Dylan, start with you. Where can they find you at?
It's so crazy because never when I started streaming with you guys did I ever think I was going to have like 4 or 5 minute outros to talk about my stuff, but it really ends up I'm just about everywhere these days, aren't I, Austin? Anyway, guys, you guys can find me on Ninjoid's channel, Star Wars Network. You can find me on Tim's Talk. You can find me here on the Austin Air channel for the DC reviews. You can find me on Zach Gaudiello's for the Scream reviews. My first time watching Scream, and it's been a lot of fun. We're gonna be reviewing Scream 4 pretty soon. That's gonna be a lot of fun. You guys can also find me on my own channel, Anime Talk, where I gather up a couple of friends and we talk anime. This week we will be talking Death Note, which will be a lot of fun. Death Note is a really interesting anime. So if you guys like anime and you want to hang out and chat about anime, come like, share, and subscribe to Anime Talk. Thanks for having me on, us.
No problem, Dylan. It's always a pleasure having you on. And yes, you guys can find me on Sundays, usually on the Bad Batch Roundtable on Chaos Central, where we talk about Bad Batch. You guys can find me on Anime Talk usually on Tuesdays, where yes, this week we're talking about Death Notes. So if you guys like Death Note, or you just like anime in general, or you just like hearing us two talk, then go check out Anime Talk on Tuesdays. You can find me on the Hangout on Wednesdays on the on the Basco scenario. I don't know why I keep saying the Basco scenario. The Basco scenario for the Hangout usually on Wednesdays. I'm on Zach Gaxiola's channel for the Scream reviews. We're on Scream 4, which we'll be reviewing on the 8th. I think it's the 8th. It's either on a Wednesday. I'll check in and make sure. Just check us out when we review Scream 4. You guys can find me on my channel where, like this week, for example, we moved up the DC animated movie reviews because Dylan is currently moving. So you're getting the Death of Superman review early, but you guys will also be getting the Constantine review early as well as Reign of the Supermen. So you'll be getting the Constantine City of Demons review on Wednesday, and then you guys will be able to find the Reign of the Supermen review on Saturday, which is going to be a very interesting review because I don't think Dylan's ready for what he's about to see with Reign of the Supermen. So yeah, guys, everybody's links are in the description, even the guys who couldn't be here tonight. And you also have my link on Twitter, so if you guys just want to follow me there, you guys can go ahead and do so. And a lot of what I'm saying right now is just to pad out the time because we're nearly at 40 minutes. But with that being said, though, guys, this is the Osnator and Dylan from Anime Talk signing out.
Bye.
Peace.